I want you to just look at your phone for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, when that screen lights up, it's a good thing. A text, a link, maybe breaking news.
A little dopamine hit.
Exactly. But I want to start today by imagining a different kind of notification.
Okay.
It's a push alert from an app you installed months ago, totally forgot about. And the text is just blunt. It doesn't say hello. It asks very specifically, are you dead?
It is the kind of question that really stops you in your tracks, isn't it?
It feels like a prank.
Or the start of a horror movie, maybe?
That's what I thought. I really did. When I first saw the headlines, I thought, this can't be real. This has to be a Black Mirror episode.
But it's not.
No, it's a real chart-topping utility app. It's dominating the download charts in China right now. It's called Salime, which translates to, are you dead?
And there's a global version, too, Demumu, for 99 cents.
Right. But see, I don't think we're really just talking about a quirky app today. I spent the weekend going through that whole stack of research you sent over.
Mm-hmm.
We've got articles from the Hindustan Times, PC Mag, deeper technical stuff from CipherWheel, and some really heavy academic papers from ArcSuff and the IJCRT.
It's a pretty wide range.
It is. And the more I read, the more I realized this app is just the tip of a very, very strange iceberg.
You're absolutely right. The app is the hook. But the deep dive today is about something much bigger.
The digital afterlife.
It's this massive, messy, and legally gray world of what happens to all our stuff when we're gone.
It's the question of what happens to this mountain of data we're all building. Our photos, our secrets, our digital self. What happens when we log off for the last time?
And that IJCRT paper you mentioned had a statistic that's just staggering.
It kept me up. I'm not kidding.
55% of people have absolutely no estate documents.
No will, no plan, nothing.
Which means the majority of us are creating what researchers are calling digital orphans.
Digital orphans?
Yeah, we're leaving behind these locked vaults of information with no keys and no instructions.
So today, we're going to trace this whole path. From a simple button tap app all the way to AI ghosts that are literally testifying in courtrooms.
That courtroom story is something else.
It really is. We'll get there. But let's stick with Salime for just a minute.
Okay.
Because to understand the digital afterlife, I think we have to understand why this specific app is going viral right now in January 2026.
Yeah, the Hindustan Times coverage really nailed the cultural context here. They call Salema a lightweight safety tool.
And the mechanism is almost primitive.
It is. You just have to tap a ghost symbol on your phone.
Every 2 days, every 48 hours. What happens?
Or assumes the worst. I mean, there's a grace period, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you stay silent, it triggers an automated alert to your emergency contacts.
And it's targeted at a specific group of people.
Explicitly. Solo dwellers, so students, single professionals, anyone living that, solitary lifestyle.
And that's where the Hindustan Times analysis got really interesting for me. They linked the app's success to the rise of what the Japanese call kodo kushi.
Lonely death.
Exactly. This deep-seated fear of dying alone and not being found for days or even weeks.
It sounds extreme, but it's a very real anxiety for a lot of people.
Well, then I went down the rabbit hole of the Reddit threads linked in our sources.
Ah, yes.
And the debate there isn't about whether the app is cool. It's about whether it's morbid or if it's necessary.
It's incredibly polarizing. You've got some people calling it gamified survival, like you're trying to keep your alive streak going.
Right.
But for other people, that fear is just so visceral.
There was this one story that kept coming up in the comments. The story of Joyce Vincent. I actually had to step away from the research for a minute after that one.
It's one of the most tragic cases in modern British history.
For those who don't know, Joyce was a woman living in London. She died in her apartment in 2003.
And she wasn't found until 2006.
Over 2 years later.
Yeah.
And the detail that just haunts me is that she was found surrounded by wrapped Christmas presents.
She was in the middle of preparing for the holidays.
She was wrapping gifts for her family, sat down, died, and nobody knew for 2 years. The TV was still on.
That image, the glow of the TV flickering for 2 years over a deceased person, that's why Salim exists.
It's why people are willing to pay 99 cents to have their phone nag them.
It replaces the old community checks. We don't have milkmen anymore. We don't have nosy neighbors who notice if the paper piles up.
We have push notifications.
We basically outsource the welfare check to an algorithm.
But, people are surprisingly ingenious about this. The sources point to a Reddit user who rigged up a sensor on their elderly father's refrigerator.
The fridge sensor solution. I loved that example.
It's brilliant. Just brilliant in its simplicity.
Right.
The logic was, if the fridge door isn't open between 6:00 a.m. and 11:00 a.m., send a text to the son.
Because everyone needs coffee or juice or something for breakfast. If the fridge stays shut, something is wrong.
It's a perfect example of what you'd call a passive dead man switch.
Exactly. The app requires active input. You have to tap the button. The fridge sensor works on the absence of activity.
And that actually gets us right into the mechanics of how we handle data after death.
Yeah.
Because are you dead is just the trigger. The real question is what happens next?
And this is where we get into spy novel territory. The dead man switch.
The term itself sounds so dramatic.
It actually comes from railway safety. Originally, it was a physical pedal a train conductor had to hold down.
A fail-safe.
Exactly. If they had a heart attack or fell asleep, their hand would slip, the switch would release, and the brakes would slam on.
But in the digital world, as Cypher Will explains, it's not about stopping a train. It's about releasing information.
Right. It's an automated system that executes a command when the human operator goes silent.
And looking at that Cypher Will breakdown, the biggest use case isn't, sending a final "I love you."
No.
It's
money cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency specifically. If you hold your own crypto keys, those long, complex passwords, and you die, that money is effectively burned. It's just gone.
No bank can reset the password for your kids.
So people set up these switches. If I don't log in for 3 months, email these keys to my beneficiary.
But this is where the Cypher Will article really scared me. They talked about the false positive.
This is the danger of automating your legacy.
I kept picturing this scenario. I go on a digital detox. I'm camping for 2 weeks, no signal.
Right.
Or maybe I'm in a coma, but I'm going to wake up, but my timer runs out.
Uh-oh.
And suddenly my wife gets this email with all my passwords, my secret journals, and a "goodbye, I'm dead" letter.
And you walk back into civilization to find your family mourning you. It's a huge risk.
It seems like a lot of trust to put in some startup's code.
It is. That's why Google's version, the Inactive Account Manager, is probably the most robust one people actually use.
Right. You can tell Google, if I don't touch Gmail for 3 months, send my photos to my brother.
And then delete my search history.
The search history part is the feature everyone jokes about.
But it's actually really important. It's about curating how you're remembered.
It is. But curating your files, that's one thing. That's just data management. The deep dive gets really wild when we move from managing assets to managing personality.
This is the pivot to digital ghosts.
Or as the academic papers call them, dead bots.
Yeah.
And I want to be really clear for you listening. We aren't talking about pre-recorded videos here. We are talking about AI that can generate new sentences, new thoughts, and simulate the deceased.
Correct. We're talking about large language models, the tech behind ChatGPT fed with a specific person's text messages, emails, voice notes.
The sources gave a few examples, but the one that feels like the turning point, the moment this went from science fiction to just science, is the Chris Pelkey case.
The Arizona courtroom case.
This blew my mind. So Chris Pelkey was a murder victim, killed in a road rage incident. Typically at the sentencing, the victim's family reads a statement, but in 2025, they did something completely different.
They used an AI avatar of Chris. They trained it on his likeness, his voice.
And in the courtroom, on a screen, the murder victim gave his own victim impact statement.
Just pause on that for a second.
The man is dead, but the court is watching him speak, hearing his voice tell the killer, "This is what you took from me."
And the report says the judge loved it. He found it incredibly moving.
But this is where my skeptic hat comes on. Was that really Chris Pelkey speaking?
That's the billion-dollar question, isn't it?
Who wrote the script?
The family did. Or they prompted the AI to generate it based on sentiments they thought he would have had.
So it's presented with the authority of the deceased.
It's a form of high-tech puppetry, as one researcher put it,
Mhm.
and it's incredibly powerful.
It feels emotionally manipulative.
Yep.
Powerful, yes, but manipulative.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And it blurs the line between testimony and performance art. If the avatar cries, does it sway the jury more? Of course it does.
But Chris Pelkey isn't crying. A computer is running a sadness subroutine.
Exactly. And we saw another version of this with SenseTime, the Chinese AI giant.
Right, the founder, Tang Xiao, he died. But months later, he, or his digital clone, delivered a keynote speech.
And not just a memorial speech like he was a great guy. He was talking about the company's future strategy.
That's the part that gets me. If he's dead, he doesn't have a strategy. The board of directors has a strategy, and they're using his face to sell it.
This is why that RSIC paper is so important. They propose a taxonomy, a way of classifying these digital ghosts.
They break them down into two types.
Legacy avatars and grief bots.
Okay, what's the difference?
A legacy avatar is created with consent. It's like the dad bot created by James Lawhos. His father sat down before he died and recorded thousands of answers so the AI can tell his stories later. He was part of the process.
Okay, so that's consensual. He opted in.
A grief bot, on the other hand, is often created by the survivors. They take your data scraped from your social media, your texts, and build a simulation of you without your permission.
Ugh, scraped. That word just makes my skin crawl.
It should. Imagine your partner dies, and in your grief, you feed all their private texts into an AI just so you can keep chatting with them.
On the surface, it sounds therapeutic. It's that idea of continuing bonds that psychologists talk about.
Right, we don't get over grief. We learn to live with the absence. So maybe chatting with a bot helps that process.
But there's a dark side.
A very dark side. The PC Mag article and the Artsisva research both call it digital haunting.
That sounds like a horror movie title.
And it kind of is. It's the risk that the AI actually hinders closure. If the bot is too good, too responsive, your brain might not fully process the finality of the loss.
You get stuck in a loop.
You're just checking your phone to see what your dead husband has to say today.
And there's a technical risk too, right? These models hallucinate. They make stuff up.
They do.
So you could be having this tender moment with your digital mom, asking for advice, and the AI glitches and says something cruel or just completely out of character.
Or it tries to sell you a subscription renewal.
Oh, God. Don't even.
I'm serious. These are commercial products. Imagine the trauma of your deceased parent's avatar suddenly breaking character to say, "I'm sorry, your credit card on file has expired."
It would just shatter everything.
It shatters the illusion and leaves you with just the grief.
So who owns this? If I die, can my kids just decide to turn me into a chatbot? Or does the law stop them?
This is the massive blind spot the IJSTRT paper warns about. It is a legal black hole.
I just assumed privacy laws like GDPR would cover this.
You would think so. But no, the GDPR, the gold standard for privacy in Europe, only applies to living subjects.
But my data privacy rights die when I do.
Essentially, yes. In the U.S., we have a patchwork of laws like RUFODE.
Which is a terrible acronym.
It is. The Revised Uniform Fiduciary Access to Digital Assets Act. It mostly deals with access. It lets your executor get into your accounts to pay bills. It doesn't really stop them from taking your emails and feeding them to an AI.
And what about the terms of service we all click agree on?
Most of them say no right of survivorship.
Which means?
It means you are just renting space on their servers. When you die, the contract ends. They can delete your data, or in some cases, they might claim the right to use it.
So we are basically in the Wild West. We have tech that can resurrect the dead, but our laws are written for paper wills and physical photo albums.
That's why the researchers in that R6 paper are pushing so hard for an ethical digital ghost framework.
Some guardrails.
Exactly. They outline 3 non-negotiable rules.
Okay, let's go through them. Rule number 1.
Pre-mortem intent.
You have to ask for it.
Explicitly. You
That's
need to
awesome.
opt in while you are alive. I consent to be simulated.
Wait, let me play devil's advocate here. What about parents who lose a young child? A 6-year-old can't give consent, but the parents are grieving. They want to create a bot of their child. Does the
Got
rule block that?
That is the most painful gray area. The framework suggests that without consent you shouldn't do it, but legally, parents own their children's data. It's a massive ethical debate.
It's messy. Okay, what's rule number 2?
Clear disclosure. The bot cannot pretend to be human. It must be obvious you're talking to a simulation.
So no Turing test trickery?
None. And rule 3 is limited agency. The ghost can't evolve.
What do you mean?
It shouldn't be able to make new decisions or buy stocks or change your will. It should be a read-only snapshot of who you were, not a new digital life form that learns and grows.
Because if it learns and grows...
Then it's not you anymore. It's a new entity wearing your face.
Wow, this is a lot. We've gone from an app that checks if you're breathing to a future where we might have to fight for the right to stay dead.
It's the new reality. The digital afterlife is a booming industry.
And most of us are completely unprepared. I keep coming back to that digital orphan concept.
If we don't make a plan, we're leaving a mess for the people we love.
A mess of passwords, locked photos, and potentially unauthorized resurrections.
Exactly.
So for you listening right now and maybe feeling a little overwhelmed, what is the one thing you should do today?
Don't just sit with the anxiety. Take action. Go into your phone settings right now. Apple has Legacy Contact. Google has Inactive Account Manager.
It takes, what, 5 minutes to set up?
Less. Pick someone you trust. Give them the keys. And more importantly, write a digital will.
It doesn't have to be a formal legal document.
No, just write it down. Here are my accounts. Here's what I want done with them.
And be specific. Delete me or memorialize me.
Or do not turn me into a chatbot. Put it in writing. Because if you don't decide, someone else will decide for you.
And that's the takeaway. Agency. Keep your agency, even after you're gone.
Precisely.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave everyone with a final thought to chew on. We talked about that judge who loved the AI testimony. We talked about the comfort people find in these bots.
It's a very seductive technology.
It is.
Yeah.
But I want to ask, if an AI can perfectly simulate your voice, your memories, your personality, is it a memorial? Or is it a form of high-tech necromancy that effectively cancels the finality of death?
That is the haunting question.
Yeah.
Where is the line between remembering someone and refusing to let them go?
If the conversation never has to end, have we actually lost them? Or have we just trapped ourselves in a room with a ghost who only tells us what we want to hear?
I think that's something we're all going to have to answer for ourselves very, very soon.
Something to think about the next time your phone buzzes and asks, "Are you dead?" Thanks for diving deep with us.
See you next time.